We knew there was going to be a fire sale in Orlando before the trade deadline, and most eyes were on where Aaron Gordon was going to be sent, which is why everyone was a little surprised to see the Bulls pull the trigger on a trade that brought All-Star center Nikola Vucevic to the Windy City and the house that Mike built. It didn't start out great, but pairing Vooch alongside fellow All-Star Zach LaVine is moving in the right direction, leading us all to suspect that Chicago is done with the bullshit. I want to focus on how these two are working together on the court, and while we still need more data, the early returns are pretty good. 10 of Vucevic's 64 field goals have been assisted by LaVine, and the most common action we've seen so far is the quick drag screen. As LaVine brings the ball up the court, depending on who's alongside them, you'll see the other three flatten out along the baseline, allowing Vucevic to slip by his man for the layup. On this one, they'll spread the three behind the arc on the weak side, allowing space for Vucevic to display his nice touch from 10 feet. And don't forget, Vucevic can put the ball on the ground and attack closeouts, as LaVine forced the switch on his aggressive look, opening up the lane and leading to this dunk. In the half court, you'll see them spread the floor and run a high pick and roll, and I like how they're figuring out the timing. Vooch is patient as Zach steps above the free throw line, allowing him to seal the little guy and get the little lefty jump hook at the rim. You'll see a lot of actions that get Vucevic around the elbow area, like this pistol action as Satoransky hands off to LaVine coming out of the corner before getting an inside ball screen from Vucevic. Notice the gravity LaVine commands coming off this screen, and when Vucevic rolls, it sucks Sato's man down to help. He's got a choice to kick it for an open three or slam it home for two. I like this play where Satoransky screens for Vucevic to get his man out of position on the inside ball screen. Vucevic doesn't need a lot of room for his bread and butter mid-range pops and displays more of that good touch on his jumper. Vucevic has been able to set LaVine up for shots himself. That same fake handoff into dribble handoff out of Princeton action with the backdoor cut by Williams finds LaVine getting some space for the step back three ball early in the game. I also like using Vucevic as a ball screener to one side, only to hit him on the pop and run a dribble pitch to the left side, giving tons of room for LaVine to come off and nail the mid-range jumper. But the guy who's assisted Vucevic the most is Tomas Satoransky, quickly developing a nice chemistry together. You'll see most of the pick and pops for three when Sato is handling the ball, especially if the defense ices the pick and roll with Vucevic's man sinking way too low. That's all the room he needs to nail left wing threes. Even if they don't ice it, when Satoransky sucks the defense a couple of steps towards the baseline, he's been finding Vooch on that preferred left wing, where he knocks down another one with some space. I showed you that pistol action earlier where LaVine gets a handoff and then an inside ball screen from Vucevic. A progression out of this is to swing it back to Satoransky and have Vucevic duck in on the mismatch, where no guard in the league can handle him down there. Here's a nice quick hitter to get Vucevic open for a three, and Satoransky an assist when they cut Williams off the Vucevic screen, then have LaVine set a pin down for Vooch. With that much time, he's going to knock down an elite percentage. Getting the ball to Vucevic at the top of the key is also a good way for him to find assists, as he has connected with Satoransky more than any other Bull. It's not Jokic-like by any stretch, but he makes the right reads and the simple passes for good shots. So far with the Bulls, Vucevic has struggled as the roll man, and it seems related to when there's a defensive center his size or bigger back there to contest his shots. When he's up against a small ball lineup, he has no trouble finishing near the basket with a variety of releases and good touch. But it looks to me like teams can have success with him on these rolls into the lane with a true big man to pressure him into misses. He's also shooting extremely poorly on his pick and pops for three. In his career, he shot much better from these areas in this action, so I believe it'll only be a matter of time until his 21.4% from back there begins to creep up significantly, improving the overall offense as well. Over the 8 games Vucevic has played for the Bulls, the two-man pairing of him and LaVine hasn't been stellar. The offense overall is bad and the defense ain't much better. But since their most recent 3-game winning streak, they're flipping the script, and these numbers are finally coming around to be promising. In terms of 5-man lineups, the new starting lineup is definitely doing a lot of damage to the opponent. racking up a net rating of plus 10.7. And it's Patrick Williams who seems to be really benefiting as he's scorching at a 63.6% effective field goal percentage. He's been roaming the court, mostly from the weak side, to find open spaces in the defense, while LaVine and Vucevic draw the most attention from the defense. His overall field goal percentage has jumped over 8 points since Vucevic got there, and he's been getting most of his buckets with this five-man lineup from the mid-range as a reliable fourth scorer. LaVine hurt his ankle just before Vucevic got there, so it skews the numbers as he's going through the biggest slump of the season. Just check these stats in the first 7 games since the trade. As you can see, the two-man game has generated quite a lot of shots for LaVine, the kind he was knocking down with alarming regularity before his injury. So the prevailing wisdom is that it's only a matter of time until his wheels feel better and the elevation is less painful and he can go back to getting buckets. And boy, I wasn't lying. Last night, LaVine went off. Looking like his ankle has healed, he knocked down a bunch of shots utilizing screens from Vucevic. And you can see there's a reluctance to leave Vuce since he can shoot it as well, and it's allowing LaVine to find enough space for him to just rise up and let that nice-looking jumper fly. I don't want to pee on anyone's parade too much, but I would be remiss if I didn't point out that Vucevic has some serious defensive issues, particularly in the pick and roll. The biggest problem is that he just doesn't seem to do anything, unwilling to commit to pressuring the ball handler and then hovering in no man's land between the ball and the roll man, allowing guards to dictate the possession and create whatever kind of shot they want. I mean, the Bulls wasted LaVine's incredible first half scoring outburst by losing to the Hawks, primarily because Trae Young hung his own high-efficiency 42 points on him, and it was an endless parade of pick and rolls with both LaVine and Vucevic without a single adjustment in the way they were defending these. And as you can see, Young was just picking them apart all night long. In the long run, they are clearly much better. Comparing the starters before and after the trade shows a nearly 15 points per 100 possessions turnaround. And it's clear these two have really started to develop the kind of chemistry needed to be a good offense. But it's their defense that will keep them entertaining but mediocre. And unless they can add more defensive players that can also shoot, don't expect their wins to exceed their losses anytime soon. As we get towards the end of the season and the playoffs, make sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications to get the latest breakdowns on the NBA. Plus, I've got a YouTube membership with tons of extra content you won't want to miss. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and throw a comment down below. After all, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in?